Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Just Talking podcast.
Hey.
Okay.
I don't want to start over.
No, this is the beginning of it. We stick with it.
Do you not have a plan here? Fuck yeah.
Because of that curiosity.
And that's like a whole lot of it. It isn't necessarily like violence or anything, but there's so much just like not educating.
Kind of reopen the can of worms.
But you just get sucked in on like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening.
And that's just talking for you.
Happy to be here.
Yep, okay. So, today I have two very special guests. Well, I guess Maggie's always here. But I have Miri. Miri! Hello, Miri. Welcome to the podcast. You were special because it was your birthday the other day.
Yeah.
But we have Miri and McPherson here. Two of the smartest, most opinionated people I know.
Which is why we're not going to talk about anything political.
Exactly. Okay, so we're here to talk about relationships and like growing support systems because that's important in our lives. As we've gotten older, we've all gone through the weird phase of losing important support systems in our life and slowly rebuilding them. And so, I mean, I don't know where to start. That's just how it is, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't know really where to start. Should we start with, like, do we want to start with individual stories, or, like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I don't know, Miri, hit us with...
Yeah, Miri, welcome to the podcast.
We've
Make your
been kind of
podcast
chatting
debut.
about it before we started recording.
I think it's interesting because you talk about, like, losing them as we grow up, but I think the biggest thing for me was, like, not, like, losing mine, but, like, kind of realizing that I didn't have one.
Yeah.
Because, like, I grew up in Utah, so obviously I grew up Mormon, and love that. Like,
Love that for you.
Love that. And then I remember my freshman year of high school, I was, like, super questioning. And it was interesting because, like, the first semester of my freshman year of high school, I was, like, super Mormon, like Molly Mormon.
Really?
And I remember, like, the biggest switch for me was there's this person in our seminary class, and she asked a question, and I don't even remember what the question was, but she was, like, super concerned about it. Like, it meant a lot to her. And my seminary professor, like, turned around and he was like, "Don't get your panties in a twist. We're gonna talk about that later." And then completely dismissed her. And that for me was like, whoa, wait a second. And then I don't know, like, I started to question a lot, and I started, like, because I had been like religiously reading the scriptures. Like, I used to be able to, like, recite the first chapter of, like, First Nephi.
Oh,
like,
shit.
from
Yeah.
memory. Like, I was definitely, like, super into it. And then I, like, started to, like, look at stuff besides, you know, just, like, LDS.org. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And so it was, like, little stuff that I, like, was questioning. And then I remember one day I didn't have any clean clothes. And so I grabbed one of my brother's t-shirts, and it was, like, one of those, like, muscle t-shirts that, like, goes to, like, the edge of your shoulders. Like, you can't even see, like, any like, shoulder at all. You can just see, like, the top of your arms. And I put it on while my laundry was going, and then I went downstairs, and my mom was like, "You have to take that off right now."
Just in the house.
I was in the house, and my mom was like, "You have to take that off right now. What if your brothers, like, see you like that?"
Oh,
and, like,
your brothers.
become sexually aroused.
Oh my god, no!
Oh, I hate that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the cringe.
And I was like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah.
I was like, first of all, that's not gonna happen because you can't, like, it was, like, not a sexual outfit. And, like, second of all, like, whether that happens or not, like, that's not my problem.
Yeah, you're like,
I had been in debate for a semester, like, I knew my rights.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not taking it off.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I didn't even, like, tell her my, like, clothes were, like, washing because, like, you know, I was a teenager. Like, I was not gonna deal with that shit. So I was like, nope, not taking it off. And she was like, "You cannot wear that in my house." And so I walked out the door, and I, like, had a cell phone, and so I just, like, walked for, like, 3 hours or something, and I was just, like, you know, walking around, texting my friends, having a good time. Like, I went on walks all the time, but my mom, like, got pissed.
Yeah.
And she, like, had, like, my sister try and call me, and because my sister was a snitch. Like, my sister was like, "Oh, I'll help you out, Mom. Like, let me fix your children for you." And so I was, like, obviously not going to answer, you know? And so I was just, like, walking around, and then my mom texted me, and she texted me, and she said, if you aren't home within the next half an hour, I'm calling the police.
Jesus.
And I was like,
what the fuck? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so I like started to walk home. Luckily, I was like pretty close, and I like got to the front door, and it was locked. And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
You're like...
So I didn't knock or anything. I just turned around and walked away. I was like, "I'm not dealing with this." And I got like, I was like 50 feet from our front door.
Yeah.
And my mom texts me again, and she's like, "If you keep walking, I'm calling the police right now." So she was watching outside the window.
What the hell? And she like locked you out.
Yeah. And I was like, "What is going on right now?"
Yeah.
And so I like was like, this sounds like a lot of work. But I was like, don't want the police called on me. Like, I was like 14 or something. And so I went back to the house and I like knocked on the door and she was like, "You can come in." And I was like, whoa.
You're like, thank you for letting me into my own house.
You're like, "Thanks, mother."
And then she like took me to the back patio and she was like, "Pornography is all over in Utah and your brothers could be addicted, so you have to beware."
What?
And I was like, "Whoa, girl, what?" And I was like, "What about, like supporting me though?"
Yeah, you're like at a young age, all of a sudden, you just realize,
like talk about like body shaming, right there, And I was just like, she was like, "You have to apologize to me," and I was like, "Oh God." So like it ended up like I just apologized to her and it was like whatever, but like I don't know, like I realized like especially like at that time in my life that like my parents like I don't know, like I had never really had any rules growing up. Like they let me like leave the house at like 2 a.m, but like I was the kind of person who like left the house at 2 a.m. to go to Walmart to buy craft supplies so I could finish a school project.
Yeah.
Like I was not like partying.
You weren't up to anything crazy.
Wasn't doing anything bad. And so like my parents like never really like cared about what I did until they like thought it was bad. Like with veganism, like my parents didn't like care about like veganism until like they were like, "Oh my God, they like she doesn't like what we're doing, so like it must be like a personal attack against us."
It's rebellious.
Yeah.
It's rebellious veganism.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
And so it was like for me, it was just like
you just realized one day like your support system that you thought was
I thought it was like strong in there, and then like the second I was like, maybe this isn't like the kind of life I want to leave or to lead. It was just like gone. I was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's like that's like pretty intense to realize. Well, like, and also at such a young age, like at 14 to be like, "Okay, we're gonna lock you out and play a couple mind games with you."
Yeah.
And damn.
Well, it was like after that, my mom would like want to have conversations with me, and normally I would like honestly just like leave. Like if it was like an uncomfortable conversation, I would be like, "Oh, gotta go."
Yeah.
And so it like from like that point on, like in order to talk to me, my mom would be like, "Oh, we have to go run an errand," and then she would like put me in the car, and then she would drive like a few miles from our house, park in a church parking lot, and then she wouldn't like let me out of the car until she had said what she wanted to say. And so there are so many like memories I have of just like in my teen years, just uncomfortable like car conversations. Like that's why I hate driving so much, is because I'm like, where are you taking me right now?
Like, what the fuck? Like, where are we going? Yeah.
That's so strange. So at that point, like after having that realization, like where did you get your support system from?
Well, honestly, it was probably like the debate team at Mazer.
Yeah.
Like they were like honestly my family, and that probably wasn't great for my mom because like at the point where you get educated and you don't depend on your parents, like your parents are pretty screwed. Yeah, I mean like it's so crazy like the impact that like being able to research stuff for yourself does.
Because
like
seriously,
like Mormon culture is not like, it's like, what's that saying? Doubt your doubts before you doubt your faith. Like faith. Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, like obviously, like there's so much information in the world, and at the point where you're like completely ignoring it because you know that like it will make you question stuff, like that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not cool for me.
I do think that's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's just it, and then they expect you to. It's like they expect you to only apply that to your faith and not to like other parts of your life. In my like, that's what it seems like in like relationships and stuff. Yeah. They're kind of like, no, don't feel that way. Like if you're in a bad relationship, like leave. Make sure you doubt your faith. But when it comes to your faith and what you believe in, like you have to stay here, because if you don't, then you're screwed. And that's so toxic.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, especially with Mormonism though, like if you leave the church, like you leave like your society.
Yeah. You leave your entire.
Everybody know you. You know as Mormon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is so
that's
weird.
also an interesting way to look at it, because Mormonism for me too was more my support system.
Yeah.
Like that's where my people were, and going to church every Sunday, and like just like learning about how like what happened after we die and everything. That was like what my faith was in. And so like losing that even as something to have your faith in and to support it, and like that's something that's hard. And like for everyone that's left the church, like learning how to cope with that and deal with that, and where to get that kind of validation and like trust that life is worth it, like it's hard to get that from something else.
It's really scary to just feel like you're being thrown out there just to like be like abandoned, because I do feel like a lot, like when I was first leaving when I first as an adult was like, yeah, no, I'm leaving, because I feel like, I mean, I've said for a long time, at the age of like 8, I knew I wanted to rebel. Like I strictly at the age of 8 remember watching like bad movies and stuff and being like, I want to do that. Like that, like I will say, like me leaving the church or understanding that I was eventually going to leave the church at a young age was super based on being like, I want to have fun, like, or what fun was perceived as. But as an adult leaving it was super fucking nerve-wracking, because I'm like, okay, well, once I'm gone, then like who is around, and then also what happens like to myself spiritually, because it's also like, I still don't even know, but it like took a while to be like okay with that unknowingness of being like, okay, I don't have to have the answers, it's okay to not have those answers, and then it's not going to dictate what the fuck happens to me. Shit.
I think the concept that
no, go for it.
I don't know. Like, I think something that's like actually pretty harmful that like we grew up with was like the idea that like there are answers to everything, because like with the church, like they're like, we have all of the answers for you, and like we're right, you know. Yeah. So like I feel like that's how radicalization occurs. Like especially with like political stuff. Like if you like are so sure of something that you like won't look to other like resources. Like of course, like if you only hear that like gun control is bad, like that's all you're going to believe in. And so like without that like ability to find different like resources, like of course everybody's gonna like get radicalized. Yeah, exactly. If you're not willing to even like look at the other side or even acknowledge that it's there, nothing good's gonna come from it. So like as we were saying, we were talking about this before, and so it does sound like as you've gotten older, like your mom's trying to make some type of an effort, you know, like is it weird? Because like, well, the thing is, my mom doesn't make effort. Well, I don't want to like say that and be like, oh, she doesn't care about me, you know. Yeah. But like my mom is the kind of person who like does not say I love you to people, because she's like, that's too meaningful. And I'm like, you're freaking. I mean, I'm your kid. You're like, I'm your child. But like she doesn't say I love you to people. And so, and my mom's definitely like the passive aggressive person who is the kind of person who's like, why didn't you text me today? Like, if you truly loved me, like, we would talk on the phone more. I'm like, just call me up. Like, I'm ready to chat with you, you know? You're like, I'm willing to, but, like, it's a two-way street of, like, support and stuff. Yeah. And so, like, now she's just, like, I don't know. I think she's, like, trying to be, like, supportive of me, but she's also, like, your decisions are terrible, and, like, what are you doing with your life, you know? Yeah. And I don't know. I've long since, like, gone to the point where I don't lie to my parents, or, like, I don't know. I never really did, though. But I definitely don't, like, hold back from, like, my beliefs. Like, every time I, like, get with my dad, he, like, and he says, because he says, like, shit all the time. Shit, yeah. Well, it's, like, homophobic, transphobic type shit. And I'm like, every time, I'm like, hell no, you can't do that. And you're like, you're not. We just can't talk about this. And I'm like, no, if you're gonna say stuff, we're gonna talk about it now. Like, that's just not cool, you know? Yeah. But it's just, like, my parents, I think they, like, it sounds like kind of, like, maybe self-righteous, but I feel like they definitely have a lot of growing up to do before, like, I think we'll be chill. Yeah. Which sounds so dumb, because, like, I'm 19 years old, like, I have so much growing up to do, but, like... Yeah. It's weird to realize that about your parents, though. Yeah. And to, like, someone that you thought was your support system, and is supposed to just traditionally be your support system, and to realize that they're looking to you for that support, and they're the ones that are, like, being immature. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I don't have any problem with, like, interacting with my parents, but it definitely, like, has to come in, like, small doses. Yeah. I'm like, we can be friends, but, like, I don't know. Don't put the burden on me to like be your child and like make friends with you. Like this relationship is not on my shoulders.
Exactly.
Alone, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'll make an effort, but it's not just me.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense because at the end of the day, they're your parents.
Yeah.
Like they should be the ones supporting you no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if it does take a while, because it took like it wasn't until recently. Like my dad, we went out to lunch or something, and it was the first time in a long time. He just looked at me. He's like, I wouldn't have made all the same decisions as you, but like I'm proud of where you are. And I was like, that means so
sweet. Oh
much to me. Yeah, because like for the longest time, I left the night of graduation. Like it was a really tensionous situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't go over well. I stay away from them, but it's just because I live here now. But like I didn't see them for like months on end, and then I definitely did have to like prove myself in a way to be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna take responsibility for my life and my own actions. But that was the most like validating thing to hear for him, just to be like, good job for proving us wrong, because like we did not think you're gonna prove us wrong. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Like I can be a fucking adult.
Yeah.
Like it's nice. But it is nice to also like build a support system around you when you don't feel like that like central support system is there, because like I had Maggie and like Penelope and like Eli were my support system in high school. I had like a boyfriend then, but like those people, like it sounds like you're really close with your brother or your brothers. Yeah
my next, well, he's like, there's one in between us, but he's like 2 years older than me, and definitely like I don't know, it's gotten to the point where like I like think about moving, or like he like talked to me, he was like, where do you want to go to grad school? And I was like I don't know. And he was like, how do you feel about moving to like Northern California? And I was like, that would be cool. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And like there was never any question that like we would like move away from each other. And so like I think it's interesting because like he just like we just accept each other. Yeah. And like I'm like we won't live together forever, obviously, but like right now, if he needs shit from like if he needs me to bail him out of jail, like I'll be there, you know. Yeah. Like if he like wants me to buy him a Gatorade like or Twizzlers from Walmart, which he does all the freaking time, like I'm still gonna
I'm there for you. Yeah.
Because it's like
really nice.
It's like there's no expectations of like what I'm going to do for you, you know. It's just like I'll do what I can for you, and like we're friends, you know.
Yeah.
Has it always been that way with you two, or how has your guys' relationship like progressed?
Well, growing up, it was like the brother in between us was adopted, and so like my parents threw us together a lot. Like we were just like the three. I was gonna say amigos, but like
three of those age in that age range.
Yeah, we were like in the age range, and I remember like when we were kids, like we would make like we had an apple tree, and we would like break off branches and like make fake bows and arrows, and like we would like run through the fields, and it was like super fun. And then we got into a fight or something when I was like 10. And we were husking corn, and he threw a thing of corn at me, and I had the biggest bruise on my stomach. Like it was literally the size of a dollar bill from like a freaking piece of corn.
Damn.
And we were not friends from like when I was like 10 till I was like 17.
Really?
Yeah. And then I like transferred halfway through my junior year to Lone Peak, and the thing was like we started rock climbing together.
Oh, okay.
And we both super enjoy rock climbing, and it was like, I don't know, like a no expectations, like no, like we were like, you don't have to be friends with each other. He was just like, this is something I really enjoy. Do you want to do it with me? Yeah. And honestly, like he's probably the reason that we became friends, because like I can be, I don't know, I definitely like if I put distance between people, it's probably gonna stay that way unless you like reach out to me. Yeah. But and then we like started rock climbing together, and then we like became super like good friends like his senior year, and then he like went down to Ephraim for a year to go to Snow College. Oh damn. And then he was like, I'm not super interested in going to Snow, and I was like, I'm going to Weber, and he was like, hell yeah. And then we moved up to Weber, and like we've been super tight, and like I got a dog, and then 6 months, or it wasn't even 6 months later, it was like 4 months later, he was like, I got a dog, and I was like, ah!
You're like, we have dogs now. That's like, that's really beautiful though, to like grow a relationship like that.
Yeah, because like definitely, I would definitely not I just like can't even imagine my life without him, because like, whoa, I guess he's my best friend. Oh my god, I should tell him that.
Wow, on the podcast, and you're realizing her brother's her best friend.
Oh my god.
Sweet moments like these don't happen every day, folks.
I like roast him a lot. It's fun. Well, we roast each other. He's like the other day I was like talking about something and it was like something my coworker said and I was like, that was so dumb. I think I'm going to ignore them for the rest of the day. And then he like just looked at me and I was like, oh, is that kind of petty? And he was like, you were literally the pettiest person I know. And I was like, okay,
you're like,
way to roast me.
You're like, get called out.
And then he's like, I have a crush on a girl. And I was like, just ask her out. And he's like, I'm not good enough. And I was like, I know. But it's
cute. What support?
I mean, it's just like even though we like roast each other's though, like we all always have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And so like he's definitely like my support system, like in my late teen,
in
early
your late
20 years.
Yeah, and
That's
definitely
cute.
as you like get older too, he'll definitely be there.
Yeah,
sounds like. I mean,
hopefully,
unless you randomly
unless I
like,
roast him too much and he's just like bye.
Shit. That
would be rough.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you wearing the tank top didn't destroy your family as much as your mom thought it would.
You know what? I should have
We
worn
can
it more
move on
often.
from that. Yeah, for reals.
That's why I have freckles on my shoulder. No.
Man.
I can't. I am still never gonna get over the amount of like body dysmorphia the church gave me. Like, I still can't even look in the mirror and be like, yeah, no, I look normal. Like, it's fucking insane on how awful the church like made me feel about myself.
And it's crazy because it's so hard for you to recognize that.
Yeah.
Because you see the church as like this perfect thing for so long and like you're not allowed to have any doubts about it and everything. So when you start to like recognize that, it's so hard to work through it and to like recover from that.
Yeah. And I feel like it's also so obvious when you don't fit the mold of like what Mormons look like.
Yeah.
And like when you treat it like when I would walk into church, I didn't look like the other girls and it was so obvious. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can't change. Like, it was just I guess I could have. I didn't though. I was like, I didn't understand why I had to change. I guess that was the thing.
I mean, you shouldn't. I feel like that's the point.
I think the thing that I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before, but I remember my parents did this out of fear. They did a lot of, I feel like looking back at like a lot of what my parents tried to do, or like they were parents, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and I was not easy either. I did not go out with a fight, but I just remember them being like, you need to change, you need to soften up your look because guys are going to be intimidated by you and they're not going to want to like you.
Fuck
and
that.
I literally was just
God.
like, but then why would I want them to like me? I was like, why would I want to be with someone that's like can't handle all of fucking this? Like, why?
Hell yeah.
Why do I? Like, I was just confused, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. Like, okay, like Jesus.
Yeah. I think what I did, like, gain from leading the church, though, is just the ability to be more self-sufficient when it comes to, like, emotionally, like, being, I don't know, just being healthy and everything. Because, like, growing up, I was so dependent on both the church and, like, just my family and everything. And so when they weren't there for me, or when there was something that I didn't agree with, it definitely, like, impacted me deeply. And then that led into even when I, like, left the church, I had, like, a boyfriend that I was overly dependent on, and that wasn't healthy either. And, like, in more recent years, I've definitely been able to grow and recognize that, like, I can be self-sufficient and, like, I don't need other people. And, like, I mean, yes, it's nice to, like, you need other people to, like, support you and to just, like, be able to talk to people. But, like, just the ability to, like, know that I can be alone and be fine is something that, like, I wasn't able to have with the church.
Oh, no, yeah, completely. I think even the fact that they send missionaries out in pairs says a lot about on how just dependent everyone is on each other. Like, I definitely get sending people out in pairs to like crazy countries, but it's like they're not allowed to leave their companion at all, ever, at all. So I'm just like, why? You know, like you can't function that way. It's not healthy to function that way unless you're like married, I guess. Yeah. Then you should probably. I don't even know if that's even healthy in a marriage.
Well, and then they push marriage so early too that it's like. These girls and guys are, you know, they're either going on a mission and getting married right after, or they get married as soon as they turn 18, and there's no time for them to, like, grow up and to, like, learn who they are. And so then, you know, they don't have healthy relationships with their spouses, and their families end up fucked up, like,
Yeah.
everything that we're hearing, like, these crazy Mormon families that, like, don't know how to function.
Yeah, not only is your family fucked up, but you also have a baby that you're, like, going to fuck up. Like, you can't...
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Like, as a 20-year-old,
it's just a
like,
cycle.
you can't freaking raise a child.
No, yeah. Were you, Maggie, like, freaked out when you... Because, yeah, so you had a dependent boyfriend when you first, you know, came up here, and then you lost him. But, like, you literally came up here, like, by yourself.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, what the fuck, you know? You built your support system. How'd you do that? Like, you know?
I mean, well, and he wasn't even, I mean, at that point it was just weird. Like, we weren't dating or anything. But,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
it was more at that point, like, there was also a mutual dependency, and he was dependent on me, just, like, as a person, like, as a friend. So I came up here, and he kind of followed me up here. But it was nice, honestly, to just, like, be alone, and, like, to not, I mean, like, I still kept in contact with my family and with all my high school friends and everything, but just being able to, like, start new and, like, meet all these new people and, like, know that, I don't know, that, like, I'm fine. And I spent a lot of time alone, and I felt alone a lot, and that was kind of hard, but
and you lived alone, too.
Yeah, and I lived in dorms, but I didn't have a roommate, and so it was kind of hard to make friends there. But, I mean, I think it was really good for me just to be able to, like, learn more about myself and to, like, really learn to love myself, and I would recommend it to anyone.
Oh, yeah. I highly recommend. I know people are, like, go and, like, live with roommates and, like, live with your friends the moment you moved out. Because, like, I moved into Penelope's basement the moment that I got at my house. And that was, we almost fucking killed each other. That was awful. Like, maybe it was probably because of the close space, but I definitely, like, the moment I got out of that situation, not only did my relationship with her get better, but, like, my overall well-being of, like, I was fucking alone. Like, it wasn't until, I mean, definitely towards the end of it, which is why I moved up here, I was kind of, like, ready to not be alone anymore, but, like, to be by yourself, to, like, get that, like, okay, you gotta deal with it, is, like, so nice. Like, I figured out a lot about myself.
And it helps you to really learn how to communicate and, like, connect with new people, too, because when you've had the same people in your life for your whole life, I mean, it's easy to, you know, go back to those people and to keep communicating with them, but, like, coming up to Logan, I met new people, and it was nice to, like, have new friends, but I also wasn't at, like, the level with them, you know, towards the beginning of the year where I felt like I could really go to them, like, when I needed help. Yeah. And so it did force me to, like, just, like, deal with it on my own, which, I mean, it got to the point where I did have those people, and now I can support, like, rely on them. But, like, there were, you know, a few months where it was, like, I have to deal with this.
Yeah. No, yeah. You learn a lot, like, inner strength.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Everyone go to college. I highly recommend going to college.
Is great.
Or just
Except
moving out of your parents'
so
house.
now I'm like, I'm dropping out now. Like, I can't afford it.
Okay, everyone just move out.
But just moving, like,
yeah.
If you can afford it and if it's in your capabilities, moving is great.
Yeah. There's definitely nothing wrong with, like, moving in with people you know, but I would highly suggest moving in with, like, people you don't know first. Yeah. You know, but Jesus, move out of your parents' house. Everyone, move out of your parents' house. Okay, you're not doing any good there. Jesus.
That's what we got from this.
Yeah, we got that you'll build stronger relationships.
Even with your parents, moving out of your parents helps. Yeah, like, helps your relationship with your parents so much.
I respect them so much more now. Like, it just gets better. You know, it gets better when you're more accountable for yourself. Damn.
And, I mean, like, your relationship with your parents is now, like, also, like, on your terms.
Yes,
exactly.
You're not reliant on them. You don't owe them anything.
Yeah. And plus, like, you also run into the situation of when you visit home and you get uncomfortable, you can be
leave.
like, bye, everyone!
Yes.
Like, sorry, got 2 Mormon up in the house for me. Gotta go. You know, like, you don't have to, you don't have to feel uncomfortable anymore. Yeah. Which is nice. Well, so, is there anything else you guys want to add before we take off? You know,
I don't think so.
Miri, this is your first time. Thank you for being on the podcast, Miri.
I loved it.
We'll have you again for sure. You just gotta visit more often.
Okay, I'll try.
But yeah, okay. Thank you for listening, everybody. This month is gonna be full of podcasts. I promise, because I didn't post any in July. I'm so sorry. But yeah, thanks for listening, and talk to you guys next time. See ya.
Bye.